If a blind person was talking crazy shit to you, they wanted all the smoke in the world, they wanted to fight, and you said to them, "You lucky I don't have a blindfold, otherwise I'd beat your ass." And they respond to you with, "Fuck your blindfold, fight me now."
Mm-hmm.
Would you fight the blind person?
Hell the fucking yes.
I got a whole bunch of those answers online.
Man, I would beat, man, I would pick that motherfucker up, throw him on his head. He'd get all the smoke from me. Cause you know, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but I give him the smoke cause he talking shit. There you go. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. How y'all doing? Hey, welcome to another episode of the very funny and unpolitical old black men conversation. I am one of your co-hosts, Brother David H. Dudley III, aka Sweet Sonny, aka Cool Breeze.
All right.
What's up?
Is that all you know?
Hey.
All right. Hi, how are you? It's good to be here. At this age, it's good to be in the goddamn work. But I'm the real Cliff Barnes, another one of your co-hosts. And we just like to say hi and hope everybody's doing fine. And you know, I'd like to turn it over to this guy.
Hello, I am your friendly neighborhood personal street philosopher. I'm here for you. Even when you don't know that you need me to be here for you, I'm here for you because that's me, that's what I do.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
So, and I would, where'd you go?
What happened?
Oh, that was me, I was sitting over there. Anyway.
That's what happened.
Okay, good. I knew somebody was
sitting there, right?
Okay, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm good.
Well, okie dokie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here, guys, I got a question for you. So I was online today and I saw a story being told about Stevie Wonder, and it made me ask America a question. And because of all the responses I'm getting, I'm going to ask you guys the question. So the question is, if a blind person was talking crazy shit to you, they wanted all the smoke in the world, they wanted to fight, and you said to them, "You lucky I don't have a blindfold, otherwise I'd beat your ass," and they respond to you with, "Fuck your blindfold, fight me now."
Mm-hmm.
Would you fight the blind person?
Hell the fucking yes.
I got a whole bunch of those answers online.
Man, I would beat, man, I would pick that motherfucker up, throw him on his head. He'd get all the smoke from me. Cause you know, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but I give him the smoke cause he talking shit. There you go.
Cross his leg back over.
I don't know, that sounds very superstitious.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Back in the day, we used to go to Chinatown and watch kung fu movies, and there was this one guy who was blind, and he kicked the shit out of a whole room full of motherfuckers.
That can see.
So I don't know if I want to step in there because you know he might be that guy. You know the out of all of the people here that are sightless, he would be the one guy that knows some shit. So now, you know, not only am I fighting the blind guy, but he just whooped my ass.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is, that old dude in them kung fu movies was very humble. He didn't fuck with nobody. He didn't talk no shit to nobody until he was talked to. So it'd be different from this motherfucker.
Oh, but you talking about the motherfucker that just can't keep, he just got the fucking just downplayed.
Yeah.
Talk about all your...
Talk about that type of person who feels like they have to overcompensate because of... And this is one thing I asked in my video, or I said in my video, because didn't say I would fight, but I don't know if I necessarily wouldn't. We have this thing where if somebody has an ailment or a disability, we think that they seem to be exempt from consequences of regular actions. And that's where I'm like, nah, I should fuck you up. Because a lot of, I'm not saying all blind people, I actually don't even know. I might know one blind person. But I just feel like a lot of people will take there and they'll use it as a crutch or an excuse to do some stuff like, you can't hurt me, I'm blind. You wouldn't swing on a blind man.
Oh, well, that goes back to like you wouldn't hit a guy wearing glasses.
I actually have a problem with that.
Shit.
I saw a movie, I saw somewhere a dude's glasses got hit, his glasses fell off, I wanted to cry. I was like, you can't see, this isn't fair.
Well, but you know what? I used to be like that. I used to wear, I had the glasses on all the time, right? When I had the real thick glasses. And there was only one thing that would ever piss me off. That's why I kicked that little motherfucker's ass at the movies.
Sixth grade, yeah, it's a sixth grade flashback.
But you hit me, and my glasses came off. I mean, that was like, oh, motherfucker, you asking for it now, and you gonna get it. Man, we'd be rolling on the floor, rolling on the ground, rolling in the schoolroom. I hit a motherfucker in the head with a chair at school because he fucked with me. You know what I mean?
Not to be fucked with.
No, I don't know what you mean. That's on me.
Oh man, see that's. Okay.
Now, I'm not even a violent guy, but see, that's
But
how you get
You are a violent guy. You played football.
Yeah, I was a back though. I was pretty.
I was a back. I didn't even make hit each other.
It don't matter. You were supposed to be able to be violent as fucking pass coverage.
No, not that kind of back. The running ball back.
I was about to say, oh, he meant I was a backup.
In pass coverage, the running back has to throw a block to keep the pocket together.
Fuck him.
See?
He said I didn't.
That's why we didn't win in the days.
Well, he was a halfback. He was running 22 dives all day.
Yeah, I was doing fakes and shit.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, you can't run. You can't run a 22 dive if your quarterback's ass is on the ground because you didn't block him in pass coverage.
He said I was a halfback, meaning I worked half the time.
Of course.
And in pass protect because I was going out for the damn passes.
Well, no, but you're always supposed to do a little brush.
And them girls was kissing too.
Oh my God.
And
Mr. Football. Oh,
So-
shit.
I have an observation to your question, because I am a street philosopher. You would kick a blind guy's ass.
He didn't hesitate.
Let's say, I want to make sure.
Ain't you been listening?
He didn't hesitate to answer that shit.
Let's say it's at night and he tricks you into his house.
Ooh, with the lights out.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
don't get it.
that wouldn't affect me, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
I can't fucking see in the dark.
Oh, you can?
I can't.
Okay,
So I
then-
would not fall into that trap of going to somebody's house without some kind of guide or whatnot.
He'd be like, who controls the lights in this motherfucker before I walk in here?
Hey, you know, honestly, right now, when that light's out and I don't have
the readers and stuff.
on, these are readers,
Yeah.
I can feel, because I have a stronger lens in one eye than the other.
Okay,
I,
okay.
And so the darkness, so it's not even.
Right.
So that is a weakness for me. That's why when my glasses got knocked off, I went crazy because I couldn't fucking see.
Yeah, survival.
Yeah.
But
Well, then why wouldn't the blind guy take that stance?
I'm gonna give him a chance.
Okay. So let's back up real quick.
So basically, it's like, fuck you, bam!
Yeah.
or damn, fuck you. Yeah.
Look, all I know is you said all I know is there was a nigga in front of me who knocked my glass off. Once they was off, I started swinging. Somebody had to fall. Okay, now here let's back up the question a little bit to when you say You lucky I don't have a blindfold, otherwise I'll beat your ass. And let's say the blind dude pulls out a blindfold and was like, here, bitch, and throws it at you. And it hits you in your face from 5 feet away.
Ooh, and you got a bandana and it's just
Would y'all-
down your face.
Would y'all take put a blindfold on and take a fade with a blind person?
I wouldn't.
I would either.
Me neither.
Is that? I don't know if that makes me morally less of a person. I might fight you if I didn't have a blindfold, but if I did, no.
I'm not a fighter.
Yeah, I'm not either. But you know what?
I would fuck
Don't
him up a long
don't throw
time.
no blindfold in my face. Talking about put it on and we'll fight. Hell no! I'm already blinded up.
It's like
So basically,
Dad hit him with the. Listen, we're already equal. I can't see anyway. So
basically, if he threw a blindfold at you, by the time it got to you, you would have already punched it.
some coming.
Is that what you're saying?
If he'd already knocked the glasses off, that's
You see something coming at you with and without your glasses, and the blind guy threw it, you would just punch him out before it even got to your face. You see it on the way.
Yeah, because what do I know what's on there?
Okay.
Could be some blinding shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you think he got the secret sauce in his pocket? Just putting it on the tip of stuff and throwing it. He got the blind
He might
sauce.
be one of them guys. I put that shit on everything.
Well, that's what they talked about Stevie and
Stevie Wonder and them.
they talked about the dude like Stevie's like the whole thing of blind people can hear better, and the dude said Stevie Wonder was like, that is not true. I cannot hear better than anyone else. I don't know where people got that. And the dude said he took a Nerf ball and threw it at him, and he said Stevie it was coming. It was about right here, and Stevie was like. He started doing it. Oh, sorry. Stevie's like,
Yeah, he was.
and the dude was like, see? First the dude was like, okay, so when I did that, I immediately knew, no, he can't see. He was just waving. He was like, but you heard that ball coming. Normal people can't hear that. It was like, so they got an advantage if you're going to try to take a blind on blind
Well,
fight.
that's what the blind guy did in the movies. He would fight him in the dark and just kick their ass.
Well,
And
They
then
be
he fought.
having sticks and shit.
And then he fought. Then he fought him in the light, and he still kicked their ass.
That's what Ray Charles,
You know.
multiple stories from people that knew him, being a music, I get to hang around some of the older musicians. You hear him talking. One dude was like, well, I have seen Ray walk with no stick through a crowd up to a specific woman and grab that woman and know who she was and walk. It was like, yeah. And then there was a teacher. I was teaching at a school, and the teacher at this school, she was like, yeah, my cousin, when we were younger, used to date Ray Charles when we lived here. And she said, I'm going to tell you, I swear that man can see. I was in the room when he punched her square in her face. She said,
Dude, he beat Byron Allen at chess. Ray Charles was an amazing chess player. I'm like,
I tell you.
But he had serious other sisters apparently.
Would you let Ray Charles beat you at chess? I mean, seeing people chess?
I don't play chess.
But if you did,
He knocked the board over 41. We're like, Ray, you ain't feel the earthquake?
no, see, this motherfucker be stealing men and shit. Ray be like, didn't I have two goddamn bishops?
Okay, so
anyway,
we know that we
that is an interesting question, and a lot you could get a variety. I'm sure you are getting a variety of answers, and
people are not letting it slide that just because you have one problem means you can cause more.
That's true. That's true. I mean, but there are a lot of people with various handicaps that are quite abrasive.
And that's what I tried to get across in my video was, okay, there are these handicaps that people may be born with or something happened in life. I was like, but people be peopling regardless of what they look like. An asshole is an asshole.
And then the thing is,
You read that?
then the thing is,
No.
like they'll get really abrasive or belligerent and shit when you overhelp them. You know, it's like I can do it. You know, and they get and you're just trying to be helpful.
And I see both sides of that because I used to work with somebody and she had to walk there. She looked like she was struggling in everything she did. I tried to hold the door for her once. God, the biggest attitude. I can do it. Like, whoa. Fine.
But anyway, moving right along.
Okay, let's jump to what's up with these Boeing planes. Let's talk about these Boeing planes that.
Lately, they seem to not be able to keep them in the sky.
Well,
you know, I mean, back in the day, they were the Rolls Royce of the airline industry. They had,
actually, back in the day when I was employed there for over 30 plus years, all the planes, one was built over here at that plant, another one at that plant, another one at that plant in the area. There's, four different plants in the area?
Yeah.
And they built them from the very first little nut
and bolt,
all the way to the paint and the finish, right? That shit don't happen no more. They done sourced everything out.
Yeah.
So before I retired, they were starting to get really into the swing of sourcing things out.
Yeah.
And shit, they sourced it out, boom, it would come back. Because it had to be fixed before it could be put out there for the public, right?
Here's what I don't understand though.
It doesn't happen anymore.
Well, what happened to quality control? You got all these people, then you got somebody with a check sheet and tighten so-and-so bolts to 150 foot-pound torque.
Well,
doesn't somebody have to fill out
Okay, I worked there for over 35 years.
900.
And each step of the way, there was a manual. There's things you did each step of the way. Then it got to inspection, and there was still a million steps for them to go through for it to pass through inspection, say that part was right. That shit don't happen anymore because I'm not there. Not me personally, but that cadre of folks that I came in with, that the last of they got rid of right before COVID and during COVID. So now they got a whole batch of kids in there.
And they're
no quality control.
They're not training right.
Right, they're not training right. And they changed what they were doing and how they were doing it. And I seen that coming in my particular area. I was like, huh. And I just told my coworkers, well, that shit ain't gonna work. They kept right ahead. And I was good with it. Then I retired, right? Shit, motherfuckers are still calling me to this day to tell me, hey, you was right.
Hell yeah.
They had to, after a while, they had to go back to the old ways. And now those folks are getting ready to retire, right? And they've been through 2 or 3 different system changes now.
They supposedly laid off 900 quality control people. Those are the people that inspect they used to have several inspections, and they inspect what the inspector inspected, and all this stuff, because I didn't work for Boeing, but I worked at Boeing.
Yeah.
A lot of different contractors I worked for had, contracts with Boeing. So I was around these guys, and you could just see how they did things. And they would check each other, and then they would, have the overall process checked again.
Yeah.
And apparently that shit stopped working for them.
And I tell you what, I started off
okay, all right.
as a mechanic at Boeing. Although I'm not mechanical at all, that's how I got my foot in the door, right? Man, I I'm down there in the shop doing the drilling and all the other stuff. We got to measure, do this and that.
Tolerances.
I get called into the supervisor's office. The dude said, "This is what you did," because my name was on it.
Right. Yeah. That's
This-
another thing too.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
what you did. You got to improve. We're going to send you to a little school to hopefully this will correct that, because you're going to cost us money if we put this out like that. Went to the little school, came back, I still messed it up. And so they're like, okay, you know what this part costs? No. They told me, and I said, whoa,
Yeah, really.
that's a lot for a little bitty part. They said, let me talk to a friend of mine. They got me the hell out of it. Because they had given me all the steps before they actually used the parts that I was making.
Yeah.
They said, that ain't happening. Let's find you another job. Which is how I've been there so long.
That sounds like when I was working at the job I had before I doing what I'm doing now. Yeah, I was in there and it was like, you being rude to the customers over the phones is not going to work for our business. So they put me somewhere else. Where I tested good to get in, but I didn't actually know how to do the work, and I messed that one up real big, and they was like, we can't have that. So they put me somewhere else. I think I was just a good employee who did a bad job. That makes sense.
There is some of that or misplaced.
That's true.
There's some good employees, but they should not be answering the phone when you call for a doctor's appointment.
There it is.
Right? Doctor, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
That's gonna be
I don't
bad.
either. I mean, it's like,
AI.
these are good people, but they should not be intaking people,
Yeah.
you know, when you call for
And,
an appointment.
and that's what I'm saying about I don't know many personally, but I do have a relative still employed after all these years. But I'm sure that they're good people, because they would have had to be decent people just to get in the door in the first place anyway. It's just that they've been placed in jobs,
Yeah,
Everybody can't do everything.
right.
yeah, and they don't have the proper training for it.
And sometimes
Sorry.
you have to try different things. The important thing is you were a decent enough employee that they said, "Oh, okay, this guy gets here on time. He does what we tell him, even though he can't do it the way we want it." But instead of just throwing your ass back in the street, they thought enough of your work ethic
Yeah,
to say, well, there's got to be something that he can
yeah, there is
do.
something.
And then he
Yeah.
found it.
One more reason why I don't like to fly commercially, because, I mean, I've flown before. I've done private pilot lessons, and I know the mechanics of flying and everything. But damn, let's get out of the air for a minute. Let's say you're a Subaru.
What?
Subaru.
The company.
Let's just say
Car.
Subarus.
Oh, you say I'm a car.
Yeah, no, the brakes keep failing on the Subarus or whatever. Or this week, the axle falls off a Subaru. How many more times are you going to get into a Subaru?
Well,
As long as they remain cheap enough for me to buy them.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I ain't going that way. I'll walk.
I don't know. I don't know. There's certain cars that are that don't use fossil fuel that were catching fire, and yet
Dude.
people still drive them.
Yes, yeah, I've heard of some of us. Okay.
Or you know what? I saw a video this morning actually. This couple, they get off of the plane and the wife is recording the husband and he's pissed off. And she's like, "What is your problem?" And he looks at the camera and says, "People should not be clapping when we land the plane."
No shit. No
He said,
shit.
"You're supposed to land it on the ground. It shouldn't be like, ooh, we made it, yay!" Like, nah.
Oh, yeah.
He's right, but I'm going to clap.
But you know
He's
what?
right.
I think probably all the people that get on planes should say that old Bill Cosby line, which I remember after all these years. Said he got on the plane and said, "Hope the plane don't crash."
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you're thinking that.
Everybody now.
You're thinking that.
I thought you was gonna say, "Would you like a drink?" But anyway,
That is what Bill Cosby is.
no. But the thing about it is, flying is fine. It's the taking off and landing that fucks it all up. Because, you know, with the air traffic controllers and the fact that there's so much fucking sky, you know, there ain't much to hit. So you can just fly your ass up. But the skill comes in getting it off the ground and putting it down safely.
Well, I need it. I need
it
it.
come down the way you want it to come down.
Safely.
I did. Listen though, because
So they said any landing that you walk away from is a good landing. I mean, that's the pilots say that.
well, listen though, but you say the landing and taking off, but again, I need somebody who has the wherewithal up there. What's the movie with Tom Hanks, in New York, when they was taking off and they hit them birds? Okay, I need you to be okay up there, and don't even let me know something's happening.
Hey.
I don't want to know. I don't want none of this shaking.
Apparently, that's why the cockpit door soundproof, because you don't hear beep, 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 beep.
Like
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Why is that light blinking? You don't hear this.
Right. You know,
Flick,
Well, you know what?
It won't go off.
Whenever I'm flying,
take it out.
this happened the last time I flew.
There's no lamp in there.
This happened the last time I flew. Whenever I'm flying and I can see the wing
Right.
and there's a red light blinking, I'm assuming that we are very close to landing, and I hope it's a correct landing and not a crash.
Well,
you know what I mean?
When you see the lights blinking, yeah, I mean they need that. Well, you know what? Because I live by the airport, and if I'm driving home, I go right under
In those
where they land.
Yeah.
And I mean, what was it? Last couple weeks when we was having that crazy fog, yo, them lights is life saving for them planes. I have to imagine, because it's pitch just fog, you can't see nothing, and then I look up and out of nowhere a big old plane just
come out of
didn't
the
see.
fog.
It was like,
Yeah.
woo, yeah, them lights are
They
necessary.
have running lights. They got lights on the tips and everything, but they got them big old headlights that they turn on. And you know that shit, cause you know. But you know, it's getting up there and you see, okay, the plane's doing what's doing. The wings are flapping. That's supposed to be happening. And then we take off, and they open it up so that they can get more lift. And you looking there, and you're watching the ground go by through the wing. You're like, okay, all right, that's
You know-
supposed
you
to
know what
happen.
The flight is supposed to happen, but
I'm looking
like this.
Yeah.
If you look the other way, not like this.
Right.
I mean, there's
Exactly.
flapping, and then there's
Well, the thing
No,
is, forces of nature always require that things are a little flexible.
no. I'm not mad at the flex.
No, it's
I'm not
supposed to.
even-
I wanted if I'm looking out there and it's just stuck like that, I'm like, oh shit, something's not correct.
Yeah.
Well, you
But
know,
now
you know
the
what I
visual-
really don't like is the pilot comes on and says, "Okay, everybody, get in your seats. We're going and put your seatbelts on. We're going to be experience some turbulence, right?"
Yes.
And nothing happens for 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, it's like the world is ending. Like,
In the cockpit, they're going, wait for it.
Okay, well, let me ask y'all this: when did you first guys take your first flight? What year?
Let me think about that. Sometime
Because you know, flying has definitely gotten more comfortable and smoother
sometime
over the
in-
decades.
In the
That's where I
70s.
I think it was like 82, 83.
No, it was sometime in the 70s because my sister worked for an airline.
Well, your sister was born in 83, so it was
At the end of '83.
So yeah,
82. It was 82.
'Cause
my
I-
first
yeah.
flight.
yeah, I flew on a 707 when they were new.
I don't know. I flew on something.
Pretty cool.
And then,
I mean, they had just started, but you know, basically they had the Constellation and these other big old things, but
Yeah.
they weren't jets. 707 Boeing was the first commercial
Yeah.
jet. So and that came about what, late 50s, early 60s.
I have no idea.
And so I think the first time I flew on it, it would have been sometime in the mid 60s.
Probably about, for me,
Because
probably.
they had the 727 which came out later, 3 engines.
Yeah, the little guy.
Loud as fuck.
1957. It was at Willem Park Zoo
Wait, what now? We're still talking about a plane ride, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, they had. Let's go ahead and run with it.
Woodland Park had a little kitty area.
Ah, okay. Well, then in that case, man, I was flying on Dumbo crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
You press the bar, you
know.
go, you pull the bar back, it shudders.
Oh
It
yeah.
had a little turbulence. And then it goes back down.
That was
I don't think that's what you meant though.
I was all right. That's
No,
all right.
fly, but no. The thing is, the thing that I don't like about flying now is the thing that 95% of the people that fly don't like, and that's all this goddamn security. It's necessary, but still and all, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I don't like being treated like cattle.
Those are hours that you never get back. Standing in line, going like this, and it's like a big maze and shit. And then at the end of it, you don't get no food or nothing.
Well,
It's just
sometimes
all
they'll
fucked
change
up.
the lane too.
Yeah.
If you not.
It is crazy, even for me, remembering when you could just walk in the airport and walk through.
We used to do that all the
Yeah,
time. That's what we
when
used
Franklin went to Ireland,
Mhm.
I was at the airport with them. I walked all the way up, chilling at the gate till they took off. Again, pre 9/11.
29, exactly. I understand why. I don't mean I gotta like it.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary. That's fine.
One tip while we're on it, because it might be relevant if I wait till the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
When you're flying commercially, just pay attention to the flight attendants because they are telling you, I don't care how rough it gets, whatever, they're telling you when the shit's gonna hit or not.
That's right.
Because it could be rough, right? And the flight attendants are still walking around. Would you like something to drink?
Yeah,
It's good.
and that's the thing I noticed too, because I always wondered why we got our seat, why they don't, what they got.
I never take my seatbelt off.
Oh, I hate that
Except when I gotta
seatbelt.
go to the bathroom.
Well, anymore, I may not have to go to the bathroom.
And
With a
if I
plug
don't-
they don't even know it's there, it falls off. It's like,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
after that,
I don't know what my feeling would be if I was on a plane and I look out the window and I see my wing on fire. Cause that happened the other day, and I'm like, I would be traumatized. I didn't, not my flight.
No, where would you go? There's nowhere to
Right.
go.
Right.
You're sitting there, it's like, oh, by the way, wings on fire. And then you sit there, tighten your seat.
I get my parachute. I just get my parachute.
No, what parachute on a commercial flight? They don't got parachutes. There ain't no parachute. They got seats that float, supposedly.
What is that shit that come out the ceiling?
That's what
that's your oxygen.
Oh, fuck.
You're like, oh, wait a minute. I could have died all them times?
The engine's on fire, I got dibs on your oxygen.
No, there was a...
First of all, when the oxygen come out, that automatically tells you something done fucked up. Because the oxygen don't just fall out the sky for us.
Not
Right.
supposed to.
No. You know what? I don't know if it was the 70s or 80s, but there was a flight, and it was a smaller plane, but they was flying, and the motherfucking roof came off of the
Hawaiian
front.
Air.
That was
Yeah.
Hawaiian Air.
Oh my God. I don't care how far off the ground we were.
Oh, no.
The top is missing.
Somebody got sucked out.
Yeah, flight attendant.
Yeah.
One of the flight attendants.
And there was another
Couldn't watch
plane.
her anymore.
Huh?
Couldn't watch her anymore.
No, I guess
The
not.
birds watched. Oh, that's fucked up. Okay. But and the other one, there was a big Boeing plane where the window broke and a pilot like got sucked out, but he was hanging out of the plane while they were landing it, and they say he half froze to death, but he made it. I was like, no. Now see, if I lived through a plane crash, I don't think I would be on planes anymore. I think the trauma would be too much for me.
Yeah, well.
What if it crashed, but it was like
No.
one of those kiddie crashes?
No.
The wheel falls off.
Oh.
You skid down the runway.
So I listen, coming home in 2006 for Christmas, and I was coming home from DC, and we had to stop in Chicago, and Chicago was like negative 17 degrees or something. That we were on the plane ready to take off. They was like, yeah, we got to de-ice the runway. We got to do all this stuff. It was like, all right. I'm sitting next to a white pregnant lady. And it's icy outside. And they start to take off. When I tell you, we're going however fast the plane goes down the runway. But we hit some ice. And we're in the very last row, me and this lady. We start fishtailing. So we're going back and forth while it's speed down. Being me, I was like, ma'am, would you like, I was scared too, but I was like, ma'am, you can hold my hand if you want, because this is crazy, and you're pregnant. She squeezed my hand so tight, it reminded me of Fresh Prince when Aunt Viv was breaking everybody's hands. But I got it, because I was like, we could die! but that shit's scary, man.
Hey man, I knock on wood. I've never been on an emergency situation on a plane.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? I think I was on one.
They're rare, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm
As a
glad
matter of
I'm
fact,
not one of those.
me and your mother were coming back from North Carolina, and it was one of the first. It was one of the first times I was on a plane, and we stopped in Houston, and then from Houston we were supposed to come to Seattle, and suddenly we're stopping in Denver, and we're like, okay, so what's going on here? It says it's nothing, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we're just gonna stop here in Denver, and we're gonna change planes, the entire flight, everybody off. So I'm like, I don't know, I never found out what happened,
Right.
but all I know is they got us the fuck off that plane and
Yeah.
onto another one.
They'll have mechanical difficulties.
By the way, with your engine on fire, if the plane's big enough and you got 2 engines, you're still cool.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well,
But I ain't gonna try to prove it. I mean, I just believe that.
Well, see, I can see. Okay, with I don't know how they do that with jets, but with propellers, they can feather it and it'll the other engine will keep it going. But if you got 4 jet engines and then one flames out, like
I don't even get that. I'm like, if it's on fire, what do you mean it's okay? It's gonna blow up. Ain't there liquids that are explosive in there?
well,
Gas.
actually, the
fuel.
whole wing is a fuel tank.
So I'm like, I don't see why that's okay.
Both wings are a fuel tank.
And it ain't
So-
even like it's just a small fire that's
No.
contained. You understand? This is fucking 200-mile-hour wind blowing stuff up here.
And you can't blow it
If
out.
that can't blow out, what do you think?
I'm saying.
No, that ain't work.
Like,
And the
The
thing
guy in the orange jumpsuit, you see him, you look out the window, he got a little fire. He's tethered.
yeah, really.
you look back in the wing.
We can't, no.
Part of our equal employment.
But the thing is, some people say flying is safer than driving a car.
I can see that because a lot of people drive cars and there are a lot of dumb people. So
Yeah.
boom, boom.
By the numbers, it's true.
Yeah,
It's
I
true,
can
by the
imagine
numbers.
because, but there's probably more cars than there are planes.
Oh, they're absolutely way more
I
cars
mean,
than there are planes.
Yeah.
So
that's why the number.
I guess
And there's
that
more
might
people
be-
qualified to drive cars than there are to fly planes.
and there's a lot of
Oh,
people,
I need to think about that.
and there's a lot of
Okay, yeah, actually qualified. Who
I
knows?
need to think about
and
that.
there's actually a lot of people that have gone through allegedly know what they're supposed to do, but they don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I found out something. Cars really do have blinkers. Swear to God, they do. I haven't seen many people use them apparently, but apparently my brand had them because but I don't see anybody else. Very few people. They just fucking turn off the road
Or turn in front of you.
or just go in the goddamn driveways. I live here. Like, goddamn, okay, but you could have told me. Now, because these fools behind me about to rear end my ass because I'm slamming on the brakes not to hit your sorry ass.
It's like that old joke. Hey man, help me if my blinkers are working. Stand outside, look at it. and tell me, is it working? Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes.
Okay. Speaking of
True story.
what sounds
True story.
speaking of what sounds like dumb drivers, let's talk about people who shouldn't be driving.
Yeah.
Because this topic was brought up, and my immediate question was like, okay, who are the people that y'all feel shouldn't be driving?
People that don't have the ability or lack the concentration that it takes to drive, because I see people that are doing shit from changing clothes and shaving to texting and everything else. Now, they shouldn't be necessarily driving, in my opinion, even though I've done it. Not the texting, but I mean change
Shaving?
clothes. Huh? I never shaved, changed clothes once, but I had it.
While I was driving, I mean, I've changed
Yes.
the car multiple times, but while I'm driving,
Yeah, well, not, I mean, the thing is, you get something started and
Yeah.
the light turns green.
nah, I feel it.
Well, you still got to get out, but you still got to finish getting into whatever part of the clothes you was putting on. But
Yeah.
as I say, people who insist on distracting themselves should not be driving. My opinion.
I used
Yeah,
to think
that's
that
one group.
that anybody over 50 shouldn't be driving.
Well, that was before you was 50.
Yeah.
Ain't that a bitch? You're some kind
You
of.
know, it's just
Yeah.
like when we was young, we didn't trust people over 30, so we should always keep celebrating our 30th, the anniversary of our 30th birthday. So we've never been 31.
First of all, anybody who has not, first of all, doesn't have a high school diploma, has never taken driver's ed, or has gotten their driver's license through the East African Driving School or Tequila Highway, one of those, or the East Asian Driving School, should not be on main roads. And there should be a proficiency test, and I give it.
Wait. He said if you got your license from one of these spots,
Yeah.
you're prohibited from main roads. Side roads, it's all
Yeah.
you.
Some side roads.
But no,
At certain times of
but
day.
see, the thing is, it's like, as far as people who don't have high school diplomas and whatever, what if you started driving before you was in high school?
Okay, you're an exempt, you're in my age bracket, send me a letter, I want it signed and notarized, that,
But there are states where you can just automatically start driving at 14.
Yeah, I mean, okay, my brother and those guys,
yeah.
and other family members were on a farm in Mississippi, and they would find, like, a lot of times farmers, instead of like when shit just break down, they just put it over there and they
Right,
get something to
right.
replace it. So you got all these old cars sitting around. My brother and his friends, 12, 13 years old, they would fuck around, put them old thing and just be driving all around the pasture and everything, and then eventually they just move out on them old dirt roads. But you didn't have much traffic.
But that's a different situation.
No,
But,
Yeah.
but I had a teammate who was born in Montana, moved to where the spot we was at, and we were in the 8th grade, and this motherfucker was driving to school.
Yeah,
Bang.
Yeah, he was 14 fucking years old.
I was driving a Mercer at 14.
I was driving.
I mean,
I was
he
driving
had
at
a
13.
car, he had a blue Volkswagen. Driving to junior high school in your Volkswagen. That's crazy if you think about it.
But my brother
Yeah.
taught me to drive. First it was like we're sitting there and I'm right here and he's driving around and he said, okay, take the wheel. And I'm like, wait, what? And I grabbed the fucking wheel. So I'm driving and driving, so I learned how to steer, And then he said, all right, take it out and go back up the alleyway and whatever. And I started doing that shit, and he'd be pissed because he'd have to move the seat back every time.
Reach down and sometimes it never sticks.
ought to put blocks on the car. Shut up.
So I was like, I taught my little brother. I'm not gonna say I taught my brother how to drive, but I took him on a driving lesson. And at this time, I had my convertible BMW, and I took him to a school. I was like, all right, we was gonna drive, just follow the road around here. Following the road, it was a little turn. Hit that turn too hard, didn't he? Boy, the side of my car went up on that curb again. On my convertible, man, it's my baby.
Yeah,
went up on that
yes.
curb, comes out, and I said, yo, what are you doing? He was like, oops. I was like, oops, nigga. I was like,
And I was teaching my daughter to drive. We were going up on the hill behind the tennis center and that road up there. just cruising. Said, okay, now we'll go out into the real traffic, right? So she went out, we got down Kingway, man, we drove all around Jackson, and we was just driving, got all the way home, and she ran into the house. I was like,
Did she turn the car off?
no, you remember how my mom's house had that
Right.
wrought iron railing down the side of the back entrance, the side entrance?
I remember.
She's like, bam! What the hell was that? And that was when I had that little, the Kia, I think.
Well,
So, yeah, all around town, and get home and run to the goddamn house.
when I was teaching my son over there and my daughter to drive, we stayed out here in Renton. Yeah. And we're going to Seattle, right? I had no issues with him.
That was dope.
Cool, right? Man, one day we going to Seattle. I got my daughter driving the car, and you know how Rainer Avenue used to be 2 lanes both ways.
Yeah.
And then they had parking there, right? There'd be cars all along the lake and blah blah blah, along Rainier. Man, I'm sitting there in the passenger seat, looking at the cars parked and seeing the steering wheel, what's in the seat over by the lake.
So, but I'm gonna be honest. I mean, you might have had that problem, but I know that was my. I remember we were on Rainier, and you asked me about that. You was like, "Why are you driving so close to the cars?" And my response was, "Nigga, you don't see the traffic coming at me on this side. I'd much rather sideswipe a nigga over here than get hit head on, because that middle road didn't exist. You get it was 2 lanes." And so it was just back. So I was like, let me get over here away from the oncoming.
Did you make this noise?
He was pretty good about that.
I actually tried to just say, like I said, look.
Try not to
I'm
look.
telling you.
You know, like I said, I'll be looking at the cars as I'm coming close, and I wouldn't yell or say anything. I just go, huh.
Hey, look, I do that. It doesn't matter if it's an expert driver or whatever. But for some reason, when I'm in the passenger seat, whoever's driving is always too close to the goddamn parked cars.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm sitting there and I'm going, damn. But from my perspective, when I'm driving, it don't seem that close.
There's that. It's like the perspective.
But I'm sitting here, I'm in
definitely-
the passenger side, and you know, it's like, okay, the white line is here, another lane, yellow line, we're in the right lane, and it doesn't matter who's driving, I'm sitting there, I have to lean back this way, because I can't sit there, because it always seems like they're too close, so maybe that might just be a perspective thing, you know?
Yeah.
Well, if you hear your car going ding, 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 I mean,
Oh, that's the new cars. No. Cars I learned on didn't have no sensors like that.
I know. They got that. Yeah, that new cars do that. And then, you know what they don't have no more? Remember curb finders?
curb finders.
Remember those?
Oh yeah.
It was a little
rod thing.
metal rod, and then when you park in the car, and it saved lots of white walls.
Yeah.
Cause like
That's the only place I ever see them is on, like old school Chevys with white walls.
And then they started getting the wide. They got the wide white walls. Then white walls got thinner and thinner. Then they got a red stripe. Now they got so to protect
Yellow stripe
all that
now.
shit. The gold.
My grandpa
And
stands for he had the white walls on his.
Yeah.
What was that? What's the car that's like an octagon? Not the car, the emblem. It's like an octagon.
That's a Chrysler.
It's a Chrysler.
Or well, actually, that's a Pentagon.
Yeah,
But,
whatever the thing is, I remember my granddad had an old gray that, and you hear it in the morning. I mean, it sounded like a giant stomach when he had the bubble guts. Boy, I remember my grandpa was like, "Oh, well, that car's finally gone on. Time to get a new one." And I remember coming home from school and seeing the exact same car, except it wasn't dirty gray; it was clean gray. With white walls, and he was like, got me another one. I was like, you're so old. You literally got the same car. But you know what you like,
But some curb finders look good. You can enhance the look with some curb finders.
Back in the day, you get that. You got the convertible top. which I don't particularly care for because I
Need a
grew up
screwdriver.
mostly in Seattle.
Arm is coming off.
Yeah, got the convertible top.
So it needs a screwdriver. The arm is coming
You got
off.
the Continental kit on the back.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
yeah.
summertime, it's all and then you got your curb finders over here, you know. Shit, that car be looking good. You got skirts on the back.
You got
you know.
skirts, yeah.
All that cool stuff that they don't do no more.
All right, let's go on to Gary's pet peeves.
Oh yeah. Well,
Take it away, Gary.
we just discussed one of them, though, didn't we?
Which one?
Driving.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We
Or
just talked
you-
about
You have more to say. I'm thinking.
my driving pet peeves.
Yeah, the comedians.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
What?
one of our hosts, I'm not going to mention Cliff, I'm not going to mention his name, is a professional comedian, right? He was my idol in high school. I was shorter than him. That's another whole other story.
I don't remember that.
I'm trying to forget. Yeah. My heroes growing up were comedians, right? Anybody funny, that was my heroes. And I used to buy into everything they said. And grandmother got 3 tits. Oh, that's so funny. Then one day he said, true story. And I'm like, wait, true story? And we had records back then. I picked up the needle, zoom, to play it again. It's like, true story? You mean all of the other shit you told me you made up? Now you're getting ready to tell it. And I was scarred. I almost flunked out of high school because of that. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So
That wasn't. But see, in high school, I didn't do comedy in high school. That wasn't until years later. Of course,
He said he could see the future. He said, I saw
of
it.
course. Now we did used to parrot every goddamn Cosby and Franklin
Yeah.
and Jai and
Yeah.
Red Fox. We would
Fireside
We
Kid,
would-
yeah.
we would remember all of these bits and just like recite them to each other and shit. I mean, you know.
Well, that's just like the 90s when Martin or Fresh Prince was on. You couldn't be in school. You couldn't be my age and go to school after, you know, the show that came on the night before. Because everybody's talking about it. If you didn't know what was happening,
Hey,
you was out the loop.
hey man, I still to this day, rest in peace, but Tommy never had a job.
You know what? I Googled that. So, there's like a game. So Tommy did technically have a job. They said Tommy
Tommy,
did technically
yeah,
have a
Tommy,
job.
yeah.
In the
But
game
the other
thing,
Tommy,
yeah.
they say what it is. But I'm like, I don't remember you guys ever saying in the show that.
Exactly
that's the
where he
problem.
was, because he would always be going. Yeah, I gotta go to work, whatever. And I think he's the only one of the cast that's passed away.
Yeah,
But
and
he's the only one.
check this out. Y'all remember that movie with Kid Blade, Class Act?
Mm-hmm.
So the theory is that Class Act and the show Martin are in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tommy was in Class Act and he was like a mob boss. And you know, so technically he didn't have a job, but he was a gangster. But he'd go to Martin and he'd be like, "Oh, it's my job, dog. I can't just hire you." So they,
I can't go. I won't be able to go. I gotta work.
They
You know
say,
what?
Everybody's going.
You know what? He was a gangster in Harlem Nights too.
"Show was."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was in the 30s. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but
Oh.
you know.
There was a.
But it's amazing the things that you remember, and you know, as a comic, you know, once I actually started doing comedy professionally, I didn't really lie. I would just kind of omit or embellish.
Okay, that's after
But
That's on the back end.
But there'd usually be some truth in there.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, you know, we were always into comedy and stuff, and I didn't actually start doing comedy until we had gotten out of college, we were all getting married and shit then and everything, you know, and then my job went away, so I had to
Yeah.
go on the road doing comedy to make a couple dollars.
So now you can tell America and everybody else around the world, why do you comedians do that true story? You don't know at the time when you're
True story.
Because a lot of the comics that I have studied and have been around and back when you, because it makes it sound more plausible. Because they'll tell you, comics will tell you anything.
They'll tell you some outlandish shit.
They will tell you anything. I mean, it's like, okay, if two comics see a Sasquatch and go up to the ranger station and say, we seen a Sasquatch, really where? And they start describing, they say, well, what do you guys do for the with comics? Get the fuck out of here. See, nobody, they'll say anything because it's funny.
I'm just saying, be careful.
That's the whole
Well,
thing.
and that's part of the thing. You're telling jokes and people are laughing.
Right.
And then I immediately think of Dave Chappelle when you say things like true story. He'd be like, because he'll say, like, now this is a true story. This is a true story.
That's right.
Da-da-da. So I get what you're saying, but that punctuation of them adding, this is a true story,
Right.
for me, as a connoisseur of stand-up, it gives me a little, like, there's a little more truth in this than some of their other.
Right.
When you talk, when or like, not his one he just released, but the one before that, when Dave Chappelle, when he was talking about when he first got to New York and there was a scammer doing the scam cards and he watched it, he got scammed and he clocked what was happening and he went up, he was like, don't do this guy, he did it, and he said, that dude snatched me up. And then he said, the guy realized I ain't no shit, I was just a kid. And he said, let me tell you something, don't come between a man and his food, or his money. But him saying, all right, this is a true story, he had some conviction. He's like, yo, I got snatched up once. Let me tell you all about it.
And the thing is, a lot of the times, the things that comics say on stage are true stories. They just been twisted a little bit to bring you into their little...
And we can't leave out the caveat, they're not always their stories.
Right.
They can tell it as if it's theirs, but it's not always their story.
Right. Or
that's a story.
Or you can take a street joke, and a street joke is one that a comic would use in the show that he didn't write, or that you can find on now on the internet.
Right.
But so you can take that and make it sound like a true story when only the beginning and the end are you saying it's a true story. All the middle is just that joke.
Like Cat Williams, when he said, I read 3,000 books a year for 4 years.
What?
I mean, he probably meant like 30.
Well,
but,
but you never know.
What's a couple zeros between that?
You never know. Because see, the deal is, there are people that speed read.
Yep, this is true.
Okay? And so, like when like a lot of talk shows, when the guest is an author, and they come on there and go, well, yeah, I read your book last night.
Like you.
Well, it's a big, thick ass hard copy because it ain't been out long enough to do paperbacks. Ain't sold enough copies. Big old book like this. I read your book last night. So if you can read a book overnight and still go to sleep and then wake up and go on your
retain
show.
the knowledge.
But if you can read a book overnight, you could probably read
Well, you know what?
a lot of books in a day.
I agree with that. When we first moved to the Air Force Base, and I got something that I never had in my life, which was a library card. And hey, I went and got a book from Western, a Kitty's book, a blah blah book, a blah blah, 10 books a week. And I would take those puppies home, I would read them, I would go to school, I would read them, and at the end of the week, because you can only keep them for a week, I'd take those 10 back and get 10 more.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Y'all had a trusting library. and give you $10. We go to the library like, all right,
Well, so and
check
just
out 4 books.
doing the quick math, nothing to impede on. I'm going back to Cat Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he did 10 books a day, that's only 120 a year.
Yeah.
No, it
He
ain't.
said 3,000. I mean, 10 books a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, excuse me,
But
10
he
books
said-
a week. It's only 120 a year, and I'm like, bro,
No, it ain't.
10 books a week?
It's 52 weeks in a year.
Well, I'm sorry, I just went by 12 months.
No, okay, if you read 10 or
480.
True
no,
story?
But
Yeah,
in order to
fake
read,
story. 10, 20, 30.
in order to read 3,000 books a year,
I'm tripping. I was counting.
You would have to.
I did 12 weeks, not
Right.
12 months.
Yeah.
That's my
But
bad.
you would have. But in order to do that, you would have to read 10 books a day because there's 365 days in a year. So 3,000.
I don't care.
Read 10 a
He didn't
day.
do 3,000 a year.
Well,
I can't get behind it.
Okay, so
And simply
wait.
because of this, because of his timeline that he talked about. Now, granted, you don't know everything, but he said between 8 and 12,
Mm-hmm.
he read 3,000 books a year.
Mm-hmm. I can see if you read 3,000 books between the ages of 8 and 12. But
I'm
not that
saying,
year.
I'm like, bro, and he did drop out of, or no, he got a scholarship to college and he went, but then, you know, got kicked out of there. But I'm like, that time frame of you being in school, your elementary, middle, whatever,
Well, here.
and I'm like, how you don't have time in the day to read that many?
Speaking of outrageous numbers, do you think Will Chamberlain had been with 20,000 women?
Okay, here's my thoughts on that.
Did he say different women or women?
He said.
I thought he said different.
Yeah.
Huh?
I thought he said different.
He said that he had been with 20,000 women in his life.
Here's what I think. I think he has absolutely been with an astronomical amount of women. I think he is just picking a number that seems right in his head.
But 20,000.
Yeah, 20. I don't believe it's 20,000. I believe it's a lot more than the average. I don't think it's 20,000.
Yeah.
But also, again, you got to look into these. You got your one-on-ones, you got your two-on-ones, you got your whole, all the girls want to come. He may not have slept with all of them, but they was there.
Well,
I would count it.
Well, you know.
Talk about, I slept with 5 chicks last night. I mean, I got through 2.5, but they was all there.
Well, they said Magic was caught in bed with 6 women, so
So I'm saying.
they, you know, that multiplicity thing happens.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Will was
and-
probably more like
but-
10 or 15.
I was
but
going to say,
20,000 is quite a
And-
feat.
and that mixed with legend and lore.
Of
Again,
course.
if he's already pulling all these chicks and everybody sees it, that's when the rumors start and,
Sure.
you know, the number starts. But
Sure.
I believe
Right.
he has been with an astronomical amount of women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
And just what's
20,000.
The game, was it also, who scored
And he said
100,
his life.
100 something?
Well, check Will.
Yeah,
100.
they's like, oh, well, there's no video footage. That's because there was no video cameras just floating around. Be like, shit be happening.
They have a few. They have a few still shots.
Yeah, they got the pictures.
And then they got the picture where he's holding up a piece of paper that says 100.
Hey, look.
But I mean, they just
that man averaged 50 points a game
for a while.
for one season. 50
Yeah.
points
Matter of
a
fact-
game.
What, a couple days ago, Joel Embiid just dropped 70.
Dropped 70.
So,
And then Carl Anthony Towns dropped 62 that
Same night.
now, but did they have they didn't have the 3-point though
No,
when
no,
he was
he
playing.
did.
If they
So they
didn't
put
have,
a little more work, but
if they didn't have, the, if they didn't have the 3-point, Fred Brown would have had the
All
record.
Will had was the dunk and the finger roll. That's all.
that's
he
all
had.
you needed.
And
So he
no,
needed.
and the
Right.
thing about it is, it would basically be Wilt's in the middle and they all clear out. Then they throw him the ball and he just, yeah. So I mean, that was orchestrated. It wasn't like he just went out and said, "Phew, in a regular game, I'm gonna score 100," even though Kobe scored 81.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
And you know what? I mean, it's not the same level, but LaMelo Ball in high school,
Yeah.
he did 92.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it. Now they say, oh, he cherry picked most of them. He scored 92 points
Don't matter.
in a regulation game.
Don't matter
It
if
was
he
like-
did it. He did it.
You
You know,
know?
if he did it in 4 quarters or whatever. You know.
Okay.
But,
let's wrap it up, actually.
Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah, well, hey, that was another interesting conversation. Hey, look, we about to get out of here, but
Old black breakfast.
for any of y'all that's in the Seattle area and you want to meet us, we be at Tommy's Cafe on Rainer Avenue and Airport Way in downtown Renton, across from McDonald's.
Downtown.
9:30 on Tuesdays. Come out and join us. Shake a hand.
Pay for our breakfast. That's okay.
Hey,
Treat us to breakfast. That'll work.
but hey, y'all be good. Check you later, and stay cool.
Patreon.
Absolutely. And as I've said many times, if you like us, tell your friends, tell your relatives, share us. You can subscribe through Patreon.
Patreon, yes.
What did I? Goddamn! I swear to God, either I add a letter or I take Patreon.com
.com/.
Old Black Men Conversation. Oh wait, no.
Patreon.com / say it loud. Yes. You can join the Patreon.
And subscribe. And our segment is called Old Black Men Conversation, or OMBC. So
that was good. I can't say it that fast because I'll be like, wait, what letter?
so you don't have to edit everything. It's just most of it. But anyway, and if you didn't like us, keep it to yourself and come down and meet with us, talk with us, buy us breakfast.
Give me a rain check.
That's right.
Yeah, Gary kind of be there in spirit a little bit.
That's right. You can buy most of us breakfast. Some of us won't be there. But anyway,
He said, that's because I be talking to sleep.
you guys stay healthy, stay hydrated. Peace.
Or not. And
Most of the world.
all right, let me close this real quick. Comedians of the world out there, you keep doing what you're doing. I understand it now. I'm not really mad at you, that I understand it.
True
But
story.
just be careful because some of us are impressionable.
Poor young kids.
So, and
What? I'm not bringing the rubber chicken.
okay, well then I guess
Peace out.
peace out.
Peace and love.